And now we all are eager to hear from our President, Dr. Raghuram. May I invite him for the presidential address? Dr. Raghuram, please.
Thank you. Right. The chief guest for this evening's inaugural function, Honorable Mr. Justice G. Raghuram, Director for the National Judicial Academy, the incoming President, dear friend, Dr. Abhay Dalvi, the immediate past President, dear friend, Professor Arvind Kumar, the live brand Chief Executive Officer of the Association, dear friend, Dr. Sanjay Jain, the Honorary Secretary, and dear friend, Dr. C.R.K. Prasad, the Honorary Treasurer, honorable members of the National Executive Committee, friends, chairmen, secretaries of the various state chapters, president and secretaries of sections, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen. It has well and truly been a God-given opportunity, a great honor, and an incredible privilege to serve the world's second largest association at the apex position, all thanks to you. Gratitude is the best attitude to have, and certainly the most beautiful thing in this world is to see your parents smiling and knowing that you're the reason behind the smile. I begin by invoking the blessings of my dear father, who left this world 25 days ago. He has and will continue to be my guiding force throughout my life. My year began much before Professor Arvind Kumar garlanded me in December as your Vice President in 2019. My mantra throughout these 2 years, 2019 and 2020, has been creative leadership and accountable governance. This editorial, published in the February issue of the Indian Journal of Surgery, I'm told has attracted the highest number of views for an editorial published thus far. I have left no stone unturned in ensuring this mantra is followed in letter and in spirit. My presidential year can easily be divided into 3 phases. The first phase between January and March, the second phase between March and June, and the third phase between June and December. I must confess here that the first phase did not begin in January. It actually began 6 months earlier, way back in 2019, somewhere in the month of June, when I started planning my presidential year. I realized, and I realize always, that our surgical trainees are the future of the association. At any given time, we have 15,000 surgical trainees in the system. And the surgical trainees have been the core of my academic initiatives that I have initiated during this year. Several courses were initiated for the first time in our association aimed at surgical trainees. And I take great pride in the fact that for a very first time, along the lines of the care of the critically ill patient course, which is run by the Royal College of Surgeons of England, we have conducted the ASI critical care courses, the ASI communication skills courses, the ASI basic laparoscopic skills courses, the ASI anastomosis skills courses, the ASI Basic Surgical Skills courses. And I must place on record my deep appreciation to a very dear friend whom I have known for more than 2 decades, Professor Pavanendra Lal, who is not only the National Executive Committee member, but is also the director for the National Board of Examinations. He, along with other friends, and if I was to name one other person, another dear friend, Dr. M.B.V. Prasad from Hyderabad, ensured that 15 courses were held across the country. And between January and March, various courses, these are images that you will see as I'm quickly forwarding throughout the months of January to March. And then in March, the pandemic struck the country as it struck the world. And I was thrown into the deep end, starting off with a video interaction with our Honorable Prime Minister. And I was bold. I highlighted the issues that concern the association. I made a few suggestions, not realizing that this video recording was going to go viral, which it did, not only amongst the medical fraternity in the country, but amongst the non-medical fraternity as well, not only in India, but all over the world, as I started getting messages throughout the night. And some of the comments and suggestions that I had made to the Prime Minister found place in his address to the nation on the same day. Equally, I was pleasantly surprised, and in fact, it gives me a lot of goosebumps when I wanted to launch a massive philanthropic exercise. And I could not do it myself. I needed all of you. I needed your support. And with your support, with all the chapters, all the sections contributing, we were able to raise a record amount of 1 crore 25 lakh rupees, part of which was also contributed to the PM Care Fund, but primarily this money was used in the months of April, May, and June, when there was an acute shortage of personal protection equipment. At that time, there were only 5 government-approved manufacturers. And I can still remember the sleepless nights that I have had trying to use all the influence I had, trying to use all the free time I had to remind him to plead the owner of this company and literally beg him to ensure that our provisions were given preference over large corporate hospital assignments where they were paying a lot of money, where we were not paying a lot of money. We were actually getting it on discount, and therefore we were put on the back burner. But using all the influence and with the grace of Lord Almighty, we were able to get these equipment, and not only the PPEs were given, it was actually hand delivered by our representatives. That is you, the state chapter chairman and secretaries, the presidents and secretaries of the sections. You have actually received these PPEs from the manufacturers direct, and you have ensured that these PPEs are delivered to the healthcare workers in the front line who need them the most. And that is something which we as an association can be very, very, very proud of, because I can say that no other association has contributed as much and as intensely as we have done. Not only that, with the help of another good friend from Delhi, Dr. Tarun Mittal, who is the Honorary Secretary of Delhi State Chapter, we were introduced to the Amway India. And through Amway India, we were able to distribute 12,000 hand sanitizers to 56 COVID designated hospitals across the country. And this, ladies and gentlemen, has been the greatest achievement for ASI this year, in addition to the online academic program. These are images of friends, colleagues from across the country who have actually ensured that this dream of ours to raise money and utilize this money towards a philanthropic initiative never ever undertaken in our 82 years history came to fruit. And I am deeply, deeply grateful to the membership, and in particular, once again, I don't mind repeating it, to the chairman and secretaries of the state chapters who were the backbone of this philanthropic exercise. Simultaneously, because in the months of May, June, there was a lot of confusion. What should you do when you leave home? What should you do when you go to work? What should you do at work? What should you do when you come back? There were so many doubts, and therefore a consensus was done. I mobilized people, and I must say, my dearest friend, Dr. Somshekhar from Bangalore, the president of the Association of Breast Surgeons of India, took a lead, and I must place on record my sincere gratitude and gratitude from the association for spearheading this. And within 20 days, we came up with an editorial with the help of our principal office bearers and himself and a few past presidents, namely Dr. Dilip Gode and Dr. Shiva Mishra. We were able to publish this document in the Indian Journal of Surgery, which I'm very, very proud of. Yes, this is something I will remember for a long time to come after I leave office, that I was able to successfully speak my mind boldly, fearlessly on issues that concern us, not only relating to the pandemic, but so many things unrelating to the pandemic, so much so that my children were surprised that I was able to engage in a conversation with the anchors. Some of the anchors wanted me to toe their line. Some of the anchors wanted me to speak in a certain way, but I refused, and I spoke my mind in all the prime time channels throughout the months, from the month of March till very recently, till my father passed away. I was getting so many phone calls. Of course, during the month of November, I didn't take any calls. And so I was speaking effortlessly and boldly. And this is something I have learned, and I shall carry many memories with me. In addition, I'm very, very grateful to the UNICEF for calling upon me and asking me to contribute public interest messages relating to the COVID pandemic. We are in the third phase. I'm just about, in a couple of days' time, this is Thursday, in a couple of days' time, 48 hours or a little bit more, I would be so happy to hand over the presidential medallion to my dear friend Abhay Dalvi. So we are in this third phase, which began in June. We actually reinvented the normal. We actually worked very hard. When I say we, it starts with the chief architect of this academic programs, and that is none other than dear friend Dr. Santosh John Abraham. He has put in tremendous hard work, many sleepless nights, enormous hard work. I'm stressing on this so many times because no matter how much I'm going to say, it will not suffice the kind of hardships that he went through at personal sacrifice, particularly during the pandemic, focusing his energy on conducting the National Skills Enhancement Program, which began in June, and 10 such programs were held weekly. This was followed up with the, again, flagship regional refresher courses, which was a stupendous success. At any given point of time, ASI's Facebook page was activated. I played a big role in this because I tried to market the National Skills Enhancement Program and RRC on the online medium. And I'm so proud that every single day, at least 5,000 trainees were watching the regional refresher courses that were so ably conducted by Dr. Santosh John Abraham, so very ably assisted by our incoming president, Dr. Abhay Dalvi. He was critical at places where it was required. He nurtured the program, he assisted the program, and he was there every single day along with Dr. Santosh John Abraham in conducting and making RRC a stupendous success. We are now in our ESICON, ladies and gentlemen. We are, witnessing the virtual 3D platform here, and in the wonderful ambience of our own homes, comfort of our own homes, we have over 6,000 delegates, ladies and gentlemen, as many delegates as is required for an on-site conference or even more. And we have really done very well in organizing this conference. And the editorial just published summarizes what has been done throughout the year that was a year that I will remember for my lifetime. I would now like to mention a few names, with your permission. Professor Arvind Kumar, the immediate past president. When I got elected as the vice president, I must place on record, he gave me a free hand in totally revamping bringing in a number of palpable changes to the electoral system. The first and foremost was the election period was reduced from 45 days to 30 days. Many emails, I'm sure there are still many emails and many mobile numbers that don't match, but I have used all my time between the months of January and April to ensure that as many people are registered, e-registered, so that they are eligible to vote. More than 2,000 members were e-registered during that time. And that is because of the free hand given to me by the then president, Professor Arvind Kumar. And then he gave me an assignment. He said, Raghu, I will look after national affairs. You look after international affairs. And therefore, I had the opportunity of visiting several countries as his representative, as the association's representative on international platforms. And the third point I'd like to say is, when we wanted to distribute the PPEs, I wanted a substantial amount of money to go to the PM Care Fund, because I was assured that this money is going to be utilized by the PM Care Fund for PPEs to be delivered to healthcare workers. He said, Raghu, you must ensure that this goes to our grassroots members. This is what he said. And I have no hesitation in saying that that has played a role, although I already had decided to do it, but I would like to place on record that he actually mentioned this. And here is the man who is going to take over the reins from me. I'm so proud. This is the man without whose help I dare say that the creative leadership, accountable governance would not find its name in the dictionary of this presidential year. It is because he stood rock solid behind all the decisions. Whatever decisions has been taken, whatever decisions have been revolutionary, whatever decisions have upset a few people, but for the good of the association, we have together ensured that these landmark decisions have been passed, and to which I am immensely grateful, because without him, I emphasize again here, without him, these decisions would not have translated to reality. Yeah, this is a man, although he has a bald head, he's a very intelligent man. And it is my good fortune to have him as the CEO of the association at a time when the association needed the best possible CEO. Ladies and gentlemen, I can tell you for a fact, whether you agree with me, whether you don't agree with me, it doesn't bother me. But this is a fact, and facts are facts. I don't think there is any other person who could have led the association from the front, in the head office, so knowledgeable, so astute, so incredibly smart, and very diplomatic. Words come out with great difficulty from his mouth. Actually, he will think so many times before speaking. It's a great asset to have. Unfortunately, I don't have that. And all these are very good qualities. And these qualities of, thinking 100 times before speaking, actually, I have seen that in my father. So Sanjay, without you, I could not have steered the ship. It is because of you that I could steer this ship. and my dear friend from my own place, Hyderabad, the happy-go-lucky Prasad, whom I have known for a number of years, whom he calls me brother all the time. And he has treated me like a brother. And he has given me invaluable advice so many times, on so many occasions, on so many crucial issues. And above all, he has been our treasurer during the most difficult times when 70 lakh rupees has been paid out, or whatever lease rent was due. As our secretary said, the secretary and treasurer ensured that this amount was given away. So we don't have any dues. And our incoming president, Dr. Abhay Dalvi, and the vice president for 2021, who will be president in 2022, share the same thoughts. Dr. Siddesh, again a dear friend who has been elected to the post of the vice president for 2022. And I'm sure that the association is in safe hands with Abhay Dalvi and Dr. Siddesh. Why did I leave him to the last? Because he is the icing on the cake. He is the chief architect of academic ASI, not just during 2020, not just during 2029, but several previous years. Without him, without Dr. Santosh John Abraham, whatever we may be boasting ourselves about philanthropy, whatever we may be boasting ourselves about hand sanitizers, PPEs, whatever we may say about land lease, but if academics are not in order for an association, everything else goes into oblivion. It does not make any sense. Why? Because our association stands for academics. If we are good in academics, if we are good in promoting academics, if we are good in training our trainees, then everyone will look up to us. Why did the Prime Minister of Bhutan agree to come? Is it just because I invited him? No. As I said, we have earned a name for ourselves. We have earned credibility. We have a high regard and impact amongst the medical fraternity, not just in our country. I can say for a fact that when I go abroad, I've been to several conferences abroad representing the association. I sit shoulder to shoulder with any other college president. No subservience. We are standing shoulder to shoulder with the president of the American College of Surgeons, whether it is the Royal Australasian College of Surgeons, whether it is anybody. We are equals. And how did that happen? It does not happen just like that. It's not magic. It has happened because of years of hard work. And the chief architect behind this, who has put his own time in the back burner, his own family in the back seat, he has all the time, 24/7, worked and worked and worked and worked tremendously hard and ensured that academics is delivered. Even during the pandemic, he reinvented the new normal and ensured that we do not lag behind. And in fact, this year, we have done as well or even better than previous years in academics. So to everyone on the National Executive Committee, every single person, it will take a long time to read out the names. I want to read out, but it will take a long time. With folded hands, I have to thank you. Why? Without you, as I said earlier, nothing would have happened. No decision could have been taken. If I had a National Executive Committee which would have said, oh, why this? Oh, why not that? Why not we rethink? Why not we form a committee? Then my hands would be constrained. You didn't do that. You gave me a free hand. And to this, and to your friendship, and to the fellowship that I've enjoyed over the last several years, not just few months, I'm very, very grateful to all of you. And I cannot forget the office staff headed by Gopi. You call him anytime, he's there. He has been a great sheet anchor. And that is the reason I said that I will take the responsibility for their comprehensive insurance, not only for them, but also for their families for 5 years until 2025. They deserve every bit of our support. They work for us and they are really the base Without them, nothing will happen. Although these names are not there, Mr. Jitender and Avinit Kumar, who manage the website, tremendous. I've really been communicating with you, and I couldn't have communicated with you without their support. Whether it is a Sunday, whether it's an evening, whether it's a night, they're always available. Not once, ladies and gentlemen, they have said, sir, can we do this tomorrow? If I tell them it is important, I don't normally disturb them, but if I say that it's important, it was done. And it doesn't happen in this day and age, ladies and gentlemen, in a work time of 9 to 5. It doesn't work. It has happened because of the goodwill that we earn, and we need to be extremely grateful to all of them. So with this, I end my presidential address, and I would like to place on record that we have had letters, good wishes from the Honorable Vice President of India and the Prime Minister of India. These letters are quite long, and therefore these letters, the PDF files, would be placed on our website very prominently on the home page for all of you to see. In addition to that, these good wishes from the highest echelons of the politics, I mean from the government, head of the government, will also be sent by email to all of you.